Okay guys, this is the next in our series of DIY gifts for everyone on your list. And today's episode is for the lazy crafter.
I prefer versatile.
Versatile, flexible,
Yes.
smart, and clever.
Work harder, not smart.
That's
Never
much
mind.
nicer. Work harder, not smarter.
Work smarter, not harder.
Seriously though, we are going to show you one technique that is good to make 3 different gifts: coasters, personalized ornaments, or earrings. All right, let's get started. We are going to be using the Sculpey Primo clay. It's our favorite to use, but there are a lot of different brands out there and kinds of polymer clay. This is a polymer clay. So just try the different varieties and see what you like. But this is what we'll be using today.
This is one of the more popular brands.
For sure.
And
I bought a
types.
big old block of the white because I use white a lot. In order to condition your clay, we really like using this pasta machine. You can buy one at a gourmet food store, or I actually got this at Dick Blick's polymer clay section. And the way it works is it has 2 rollers in it, and the rollers are adjustable on this knob right here. You want to start at the thickest or the widest setting, and then work your way smaller, smaller, smaller. And that's what conditions the clay. So I have put it through, it's really thin and it's getting soft and supple. And now I'm going to fold it all up, and I'm gonna use the 1 so that my clay is nice and thick for our first project, which is going to be a coaster. And I'm gonna just fold it in half and do it one more time. You just keep putting it through. You don't wanna see any bubbles or any nicks or anything like that. So I think that's about good. Now you could make it a lot thicker. Josie was mentioning that she would do it thicker so that you can decorate both sides. So that's another option. But I'm going to do it about this thickness, partly because we're low on clay. So we don't have enough clay to go super thick. So, and this is actually how I made the ones that we showed you on camera. The first thing we're going to show you is a personalized coaster. I did this set of coasters for our good friends, and their last name starts with a Y, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that again so that I can show you what I did if you want that exact same look. However, keep in mind that you can use any of our stamps to create the coaster exactly the way that you want it. So I'm using typesetting, and I chose typesetting. We have a lot of fonts to choose from now, but I liked typesetting because it was the right size, and it also, I really liked the type of impression that it made. Now, polymer clay is a firm clay, keep in mind, so you're gonna have to work that stamp a little bit. I'm gonna make sure that I have enough space around it. If I was up here, we'd be in trouble. So make sure when you lay your stamps down, you're centering it nice and there's plenty of room around it for the letter, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start with my Y. Always start with your Y. That's funny. And then I'm going to, this part's kind of important because you want to keep your fingers on part of the letter while you're pressing the other part. It will want to flip up, and then you'll get kind of a halo effect. So you want to make sure that you're holding it firm as you press the other parts. And see how I kind of switch my, I switch my finger angle, and I'll then move that finger, and then I just really press that in real firm to make a proper impression. Now, when you pull it up though, keep in mind, there will be a glazing, or we'll be using a nice scrumble to pop that detail. So even though it doesn't seem like that you see much detail, you will. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, that's perfect. So I've got a nice impression of my Y there. I am going to go ahead and use the rose toile because I really like the floral detail that it adds. If you have not worked with our stamps, you'll want to look at our Stamping Basics video, and you can find that link right below and check out all of the details about how to use our stamps. The first thing you're going to want to do is condition your stamp, and then you are going to be ready to use it. What that does is it just kind of gives you a finer impression. I am going to use this straight out of the package because I'm not using it with the medium right now, so I can condition it later. Now, there are different ways to use our stamps, and you will see that on the Stamping Basics. For this technique, I like to take it off the backing and use it just by itself with no mount, because it allows me to really get it pressed into that firm polymer clay. So then I just take it and I decide where I want to arrange the design. And I think I'm gonna use this, like it's kind of coming out from the Y. I think would be pretty. Okay, so again, I'm giving it some good muscle. Okay, and use your fingers to kind of steady the rest of it because it will want to pop up on ya. If it does that, just keep going. Don't sweat that because you can always put it right back through the polymer clay machine, the pasta machine, and rework it.
Very forgiving.
Yes. I really love that, but I want something right there. So I'm gonna go back in and add just a wee bit. I'm gonna find my position. And because I'm not pressing back into the design that was already pressed, I'm not gonna get a halo effect. So I'm just gonna put a little bit right there. So that is that. Now, that's not perfect, but I'm okay with that. After doing this, I saw that once it's all done in glaze, it actually looks really beautiful. So don't be too picky about your design. I like that just how that is, and I think it's gonna look beautiful once it's glazed. Okay, and then let's have this go out from here. I like that.
Because of the firmness of polymer clay, it allows you to go in and spot stamp like this without getting the entire impression on there if you don't want it.
Right, you can really be picky about where you're pressing. When you're working with ink, that is not the case, so you definitely would want to be more careful. Perfect, I like that.
Fabulous.
That is perfect. So now that I have all the impression done, I am going to center my circle around the Y. You could also have the Y on the side and choose a side and do it like that, but I'm going to go ahead and do it right in the middle. Okay. And then just pull this around like so. Isn't that beautiful? Now you think it's pretty now, wait until after we have it baked and glazed. We're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven, but first, you know what? Let's go ahead and show you how we batch all the other things and we'll bake them at the same time, because that's how you're gonna be doing it, right? When you are making your DIY gifts at home. So I have just enough room here probably for 2 of our earrings. So let's go ahead and do that part now. And I am going to, for this, I'm super excited to show you guys a little trick. We are using our knob topper stamps. They work beautifully for this. And we are going to show you how you have a bazillion designs to choose from. So if you're batching earrings and you want to make a different design for everybody, you can do it because you have so many different designs on this knob topper set. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I am going to, actually for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just cut the earrings out first. I've done it both ways, so it's fine to do it if you want to do the circles first. And I'm just using a cookie cutter is what I'm using to cut the circles. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got that. Can I do one more? I believe I can. Okay. All right. For this set of earrings, I am using our beautiful Paris Rose knob topper stamp, and it's just the perfect size for these little earrings. And again, with the same carefulness, I'm going to hold it down and I'm going to press really, really firm into the clay to get a nice impression.
Question.
Yes.
I noticed that that cookie cutter and that stamp are the exact same size. Is that just a coincidence?
It is.
That's awesome.
So I'm pressing that in. And you can see. Now, I really like the antique look. So the fact that it kind of pushed out the sides and it's not a perfect circle, I like that. If you wanted to make sure it stayed a perfect circle, you could do this part before you cut them. I also like the way the image isn't perfect. Again, it just kind of adds to the vintage worn quality. Yes. Okay. There are my earrings. Now I am going to show you how to make a English croc ornament. Our IOD crockery stamps are one of my favorites. They're so versatile. We're gonna be using this on another DIY gift that you will get to see, but there are several different designs to choose from.
Reminiscent of the old English crockery.
Right. So we're using this as an inspiration for a crockery ornament.
And just I want to point out that my name is on the marmalade.
Yeah.
Josephine's famous marmalade
What's
Roxburn.
Sally's last name on, Josie?
Sally's is on this one. It's on the potted meats.
Potted meats. And who designed that?
I did. I actually thought that you would like potted meats.
Right, because everybody loves potted meats more than they like marmalade. Anyhow, so we've got our coaster set, we've got our beautiful earrings, and now we are going to make a crockery ornament. And I pulled off the stamp. We are using the Devonshire Cream stamp, and I am going to go ahead, lay it down. This one's a little larger, so I'm just being nice and careful to kind of keep even pressure all over the stamp so it doesn't flip up on me. I'm just pressing, 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 so all of that beautiful detail gets pressed into the clay. And I really like to make sure those letters show. So I just make sure I'm getting all the letters.
I gotta say, that polymer clay is one of my favorite ways to use our products. And be honest with you, I haven't gone deep with the polymer clay until recently, and I'm just loving it.
I love it too. It's so much fun to work with, and when you're done, it's like indestructible.
It is. It's super strong. It has a really nice tensile strength and a leatheriness to it.
That is a very nice impression.
Beautiful.
I'm happy with that, and now I am going to go and cut it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to put the holes in this one because we are going to show you a different technique later after they're baked for that. So we have our ornament, our earrings,
and our coaster.
All set and ready to go. We're gonna put these in the oven now. All right, we are back. We have our ornament, coaster, and earrings that have baked and they are ready to go. I am going to give them a fine sand. Just lightly buff it. And if there's any like edge treatments or edge little nubules you want to get rid of.
Nubules?
Whatever. I make up words.
Little riffraff.
Little riffraff and nubbies.
So pretty.
And that just kind of scuffs the surface to take the glaze that we're going to do next. See, this is a perfect example. See those little nubbies?
This makes me want some clotted cream really bad.
I know.
With scones and fresh berries.
Yes. I was thinking you should have designed a figgy pudding one.
Oh, that would be.
Although figgy pudding doesn't come in a jar, so maybe not.
Steamed puddings do sometimes come in jars.
But figgy pudding is actually more like a bread pudding. I just read about it on Wikipedia.
Would have to defer to your knowledge on that one. But what's the sticky pudding? I would think of sticky pudding,
yes,
which I know comes in a jar because I bought some in a jar one time in London.
That is such a London memory. I love London. All right, the other thing I am going to do with the earrings is I'm going to show you that method of putting in the hole. So this method is just using this crocodile, which we had back in our craft days, and it can punch through just about anything.
You want to make sure that it's less thick than this opening here.
Right. So it has to be something fairly thin.
But one of the nice things is you can spot the hole through that opening, especially if you're not looking at it through a camera.
So right through there.
I feel like you need to go in a teeny bit more there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, that would have been too far.
So there you go. Let me do it with the other one here.
Nice. Ooh, and it makes I like that small size. It's like a perfect size for a jewelry finding.
Yep.
Love it.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to take some glaze. I made a very watery glaze. Now, you will want to play with your glaze. You might want one thicker. Mine was probably a little more watery, and I would probably thicken it up if I were to do it over. This is about 3/4 cup water with equal parts artist acrylic in raw umber, and that's the finished effect of the glaze. So it's a very soft glaze. Very nice slow-mo. It's a very nice subtle glaze, which I like. If you want something a little darker, then you'll want your glaze thicker. Now this is about 3/4 cup water. The artist acrylic is raw umber and ivory black in equal parts, about a 1/2 teaspoon, maybe 3/4 teaspoon, somewhere around. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's about what I did. Okay, so that is that. And let's see. Oh, you know what? I did not wipe off the sanded powder. So let's do that. Clean these off. You are such a pill. Did you do that on one of my earrings that I made? You did. You're such a brat. Okay. Nerdo. Okay, here we go. This is the fun part when the design really starts to shine.
Ooh, so pretty. But just think if you were Joanne Gaines putting up with Chip all the time. I'm nothing. I got nothing on him.
That's true. That's true. You kind of are my Chip. Now that you mention that, you're totally...
don't get carried away.
You're totally my Chip.
No, okay, Robin. You're Robin.
No.
I'm Batman.
I'm Robin. You're Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, why are you such a brat? Okay, so you can kind of see how it beads up, and that is not a problem. And it will
settle into the grooves.
Yeah, it'll settle into the grooves.
The pigment
and
just
then,
settles in as it dries and really amplifies the dimension.
Exactly.
So you would just set those aside to dry for, what, an hour? Or if you set a gentle fan, if you put too much air movement, if it's too forceful, have it going above it, not directly on it. If it's directly on it, it's going to move your water before it's dry.
And you'll get watermarks.
Yeah. So
what I actually did was I let it settle, and then as it dries, I would come back and kind of rework it a little bit just so that there was no puddling. So that really helped keep the color nice and even. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to let it dry for just a little bit, and we'll be back. All right, that is all dry, and you can see how the glaze settled into the design beautifully. And we are going to finish this off with some Sculpey gloss glaze. I like the way this finishes it off because it makes it look like ceramic. So I actually put about 3 coats on that for a nice shiny surface, and they dry about 30 minutes in between coats. But I'm just going to show you the first coat here and then show you the finished projects. Okay, so this is a nice thin coat. A little bit goes a long way. There you go. And then you just do one side at a time, so you're not setting it on its wet surface. And the finish might move the glaze a little bit. Don't worry about that. It doesn't affect the finish. Just a tiny bit. And that is it, you guys. That is exactly how you finish that off. I will show you how to finish the earrings, but our coaster, that is the last step for our coaster. You can see that gives it a nice gloss. Honestly, 1 coat would probably be enough. I was probably being excessive with 3. And then here's the ornament. Let me go get the finished ones to show you. All right, here are all the finished gifts. You guys, aren't they beautiful and so unique? Nobody else is going to be getting, the people on your list, all of these beautiful things. Look at the coasters. Now, for these set of coasters, you could also put some cork on the back so that they don't slide around too much. So that's another step you may want to do if you're going to make them into coasters. But this would also make a beautiful personalized ornament, in which case also you could personalize it on the back with a sharp tool just right from Sally and Josie 2020, Christmas 2020, or something like that would be a beautiful way to give a personalized ornament. And then we wanted to show you how the earrings that we made would also make a fabulous set of wine charms, each one in a different design from the knob topper set. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Okay, I'm gonna finish these off by showing you, I'm gonna take this off so I can show you how to make the earring, to finish the earring off. Many of you probably know how to do that, but it always annoys me when I watch a tutorial and they don't show you everything there is to show to finish a project off. And I'm gonna take a couple pairs, we'll just put this out of the way here, a couple pairs of needle nose. I'm gonna reposition the camera here.
And these are actually not needle nose. These are actually specifically for jewelry. And the difference is you don't have a flat surface. It's
round nose pliers.
Yeah, they're round nose, so that you don't have to, so that it works better for making a perfect little circle.
Righty.
On God.
Okay. All right. So you just want to open it up. Now this one's a little misshapen because I think Josie got a hold of it yesterday and ruined it. But I'll fix it. So you just open it up like that. Oops, sorry. Open it up like that, nice and wide. And you just simply hook it in there and then close it back up. Now, you don't have to have two pairs, but it does make it a little easier. Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have two pairs of the round nose, you can use a needle nose to secure one side, but it does make a big difference in handling to have two tools.
Okay, you can see that, and then just loop that in right there. Okay, and then close it back up. Okay, and there you go. Your earring is finished. It's a beautiful little dangly earring. Isn't that pretty? You guys, I hope you got a lot of inspiration from today's tutorials. There's so many different ways that you can use that one technique to personalize some beautiful polymer gifts. I really am excited about our next DIY gift video, so you don't want to miss it every Tuesday on the blog. All right, you guys, bye.